Hi Laurent. For those of our viewers who don't know you yet, could you maybe explain like who you are and what you do at Deutsche Telekom?
Sure. First of all, hello, Florian. Thanks a lot for the invite. So my name is Laurent Donnay. I'm within Telecom IT, and I'm part of the leadership team, and I'm in charge of the new organization we're currently setting up.
So you are in charge. Can you maybe a little bit explain like what does that mean for what are you doing with this?
Sure. Actually, in Telecom IT, we're about to start a pretty disruptive organization model where we will have our people that will be brought together along their skills, and these will be their future home. This will be the new org chart. They will be working on a daily basis to deliver our products and services. But all the setup of this skill-based organization that we will be calling chapters is something that we have been working on over the last 2 years. When I say I'm in charge, I am actually facilitating this new organization that we're interesting to observe. We're delivering also in an agile way. We're doing MVPs, pilots, learning from there, inspect and adapt, and we will be scaling based on the prototypes we've been launching in the past.
Cool. So as you mentioned agile and this interview is about agile. So the first category of questions is like your first time. So how did you get in touch with the topic of agile and what was your first impressions?
Well, the first time I will probably never forget it. It was in 2010, and in 2010, I was very senior delivery lead, and I was called because we had a team that was working on a project, and that was supposed in 6 months to deliver a solution. And actually, I was called because after 3 months, nothing had happened, and the go live was expected 3 months later. So I remember that phone call of one of the leaders that called me and said, Laurent, if you have some time, could you just throw an eye? I don't get what's happening. We're supposed to deliver something. They tell me it's agile, and I see nothing coming. I'm worried. So myself, I had nothing really agile. I grew up a very, very long time ago in the space of custom solutions, open source, before the years 2000. And then I made myself as a delivery person in the waterfall world. So I joined this team, and it was a bit of a shock because everyone had done the trainings, knew the method. So everyone was having stand ups and they had a backlog, and everything was smooth. But actually, they had been doing design work for 3 months, constantly iterating and taking the next sprint to better understand what they had not understand the sprint before. And well, that was smooth, but not set up in a way to deliver anything. So to make that story short, it took us about a year to get us running, to continue along the agile journey, but to deliver in the end a product. So we shifted the entire delivery of a year.
Mhm. So that was in 2010, you mentioned. It's around about.
2010.
So this is quite some time ago, and you I mean, you said the first impression was, or I understood it was a little bit, it was positive and negative. So, or how would you sum it up? So, what was it?
Um, the first impression was, looking back, it was positive because what I, and that's the interesting part of my learning, is what I brought to the team was nothing more than a lot of delivery experience. And without knowing it, I applied most of the Agile Manifesto principles, which finally brought us on track. So this is why I think, looking back, it was an amazing. I mean, when it happened, I was scared to death because it could not look worse than that. But now that I think about it, it was amazing because actually it worked because I we were able to bring together a lot of simple delivery experience, whether waterfall agile is not the point, it's about how do you build software with the agile approach, and that worked.
Cool. So since 2010, second category, what has happened since? You mentioned maybe that you have been working in another company, not Deutsche Telekom. So what has changed for you personally, beside that you're working for a different company now?
What has changed? Let me perhaps start with what has not changed. What I took away from long years of waterfall delivery is that you are good in delivery if you are able to measure how good you are. That is one of the key dimensions I took with me, and that helped me to enjoy Agile. Because as long as you embrace, you need to know where you are. It's when you want to go from A to B, it's good to know B, but if you don't know A, the path is going to be pretty long. And I think this is what I took away. What has changed over time for me with the marriage of this measurement mindset and Agile, the transformation of people.
Hmm.
What I learned in that first experience is Agile is not at all a method. I'm not sure I like the word culture, because culture is really broad and may be misunderstood. What I have observed is for Agile to work, you need to have very, very skilled people. And why I like it is every time we chose in what we had to deliver an Agile topic, I enjoyed help people get better.
Hmm.
And that for me, and let me be more specific. The years 2000 in the software delivery industry was really the years of waterfall with extreme specializations where everyone had a task to do. We had designers, and those were close to the customers. And then we had the architects. And once the design and the architects were clear, we sent the code where the code was cheap. So it was sent to India. And there it was just coding. And if you don't tell them to test, they will not test. So you had to tell them exactly what to do. Once this was done, you would do some operations. And there you have other locations in Asia that are even cheaper than in India where you could do operations. Okay. And we spent a decade as an overall industry to just over specialize people and make them expert of a small slice of IT delivery. And when I met Agile, actually, it was a unique opportunity to recreate those people who are able to discuss directly with the business, have an idea what this means in terms of software, in terms of design, but also have an understanding how this has to be followed into operations.
Hmm.
So these extremely skilled people that in one individual bring what we had in the past across 5 continents. This is what I love, because it makes out of, when you manage to succeed there, you create people that are immensely talented.
All right, thank you. So on this journey, across these 10 years, I guess you had maybe some sources of inspiration. So what are your sources of inspiration? So where did you get inspired by people, by books, by some
Yeah,
coaches? I don't know. Do
I,
you have
I,
maybe?
yeah, I have well, one video is a source of inspiration that helped me a lot, and I'm still looking at it on a regular basis. It's the Dave Thomas conference where he says Agile is dead in 2015. Why I like that? Because it reminds me that the purpose here is to work better. The purpose here is to make individuals better so that we make better products. The purpose here is not to make business. The purpose here is not to increase a level of certification. The purpose here is not to buy relentlessly consultants. And I found interesting that video in 2015, and when we had the huge safe wave, and we have it in telecom also, but when there was that huge safe wave in the years 2018, I think it was good to go back to that video of Dave Thomas saying, let's be cautious, let's don't forget the purpose. The second inspiration, in my previous life when I was a consultant, I drove the acquisition of the leading company for Agile in France. I was a consultant in probably one of the largest consulting business in the world, where all the Taylorism I mentioned before was considered as golden rule. And being in this company, I drove the acquisition of the leader in Agile. And having had the chance to live this clash of culture was for me unique. Because I'm convinced now that both are awesome, both make brilliant people, but they're completely different.
So this was also kind of an inspiration for you, this clash, or this to see these two. Okay. So as I understood you correct, so first you have been very different from Agile. So this Taylorism is the way to go, and now you're maybe on the opposite side. Are you now on the dark side or on the light side, or is both correct or both right in your view? Just with
I
different,
yeah,
maybe different fields.
simple. I enjoy working in the agile space more because it's a lot more tougher. There are more challenges, but I'm convinced that in the IT space, it's good to be able to do both.
All right. Very good answer. You could also get a politician, I think. So, all right. So, category number 4, the untold stories. So, is there a story you want to share with us? It could be a learning that you had, maybe also an inspiration, or also maybe you want to warn some of our audience because don't do this. This is a pitfall, or something like that. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, 2016, I was leading a complex project to build up a mobile payment solution. So it was before the rise of Apple Pay and others. And we were doing this agile, and it worked really well, really well. And I was deeply involved with the team at the beginning to make sure we got the right setup, the right work, set up our backlogs, and look at our velocity over time. And everything was fine. So I just stepped out, followed it from a bit far away. And I attended regular steercos because it was a sensible topic looked at by lots of people. So we had non-agile rituals to deal with, like steercos. And I probably will never forget the last steerco before go live, where I simply asked in the steerco if we had an idea how many people we could have on board during the MVP using the payment solution. And their answer received was no idea. Okay, so we just made a rough estimation of what this could be. And right after I asked, okay, and what load performance test have we done? And there was a huge silence. And this drives me back to the point, when you build a software, there are some really key important tasks that need to happen. Like basically testing at the lowest level, automation, like load testing also, like today you could do test-driven design. But if you do not follow some of the fundamental steps, whether you do it agile or whatever, you will not succeed. And agile is not, I like to consider agile as requiring perhaps even more rigor than waterfall, because there is no one to catch you up afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
All right.
my learning. Don't consider agile is a way to deliver software without our fundamentals.
Yeah, I mean, you could get the impression nowadays, like we're doing Scrum, we are awesome, our product is awesome. No, it's not the case. It's just Scrum, and the rest you need to do anyhow, right? So, or,
I think you're right, because you're awesome. We're doing Scrum. It's awesome because this helps you to get your customer on board faster, to get your customer in the design, to get feedback from the customer a lot faster. And this we hadn't. You don't have it in waterfall. It's my point is it's not a replacement. It's in addition.
yes. So yes, you need to have a lot more than an agile framework or an agile approach. As you said, excellence or awesome people who have skills and stuff. And you need to do it for all the work that you do, and there is the kinds of the basics that you need anyhow. Cool. Category number 5, on your radar. So do you see upcoming topics in your area in the telecom IT where the agile community of Deutsche Telekom could be a benefit for you, could bring a benefit?
I see two things where I think we can improve and where the community may help. The first thing is perhaps something even closer to the German culture. We need to stop to build product that will be perfect for 100% of our people. I mean, I just heard this morning that Facebook has launched to a few 100,000 users a specific version to test their new story approach. That for me is agile. I mean, you are able to launch a product to only a subset of your final customers, and you're able to understand if they use it, how they use it, and to craft that feedback into the next loop. And I think this is a huge challenge for us, but we need to get there. Otherwise, we will die of over perfection. The second challenge, and if we wanted to turn, we want to turn our customers into fans, we need to be sharp on the value. We need to be able in any Scrum team to articulate why we're working on a features and what the purpose of that feature is. And here I think the community can help us.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything in mind, like how this could be achieved, or is this a general statement, like that this is something that could be done?
We have today in the discussions what could our possible future front-end mobile application be? Is it My Magenta app? Or should we reuse or not the one we have in the NatCos, the one app? Here, I would love that we have some approach focusing on value, or that we have some iterative approach to test for some customers one app as opposed to My Magenta app and see how this lands. So no, I have lots of concrete cases where the challenges I'm mentioning could come to play.
Cool. Thank you very much, Laurent. You have some final words, maybe for our viewers. So now there is the chance. If you have anything which you want to spread into the world, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Florian. A true agile journey shall be painful at some point. Don't shy away, don't run away, accept to go through the pain, and you'll be amazed what's coming after.
That were very nice words in the end. Thank you, Laurent, for this. I hope you enjoyed it, dear viewers, and stay tuned for the next episode of this. Thank you, Laurent. Bye.
Thank you, Florian. Bye.